Shit. Where the real granddaddies at? Y'all stop acting like y'all don't see them niggas working on the side of the road. Take them niggas a motherfucking basket of chicken, ho. Act like you see that hard-working nigga with that goddamn shit.
So, guys, watch this. This is going to be the 4th time that I play this audio. And just watch what a lot of the women in the comments are going to say. Watch what they're going to take out of 2 minutes and 30 seconds. Just watch. Just watch.
Shit. Where the real granddaddies at? Y'all stop acting like y'all don't see them niggas working on the side of the road. Take them niggas a motherfucking basket of chicken, ho. Act like you see that hard-working nigga with that goddamn work motherfucking uniform on. Working nigga. Bitch. Go by the fire department and drop off some biscuits. Bitch, y'all don't appreciate them niggas making $30,000 a year. Y'all keep wanting these fuck niggas that ain't getting you nothing but dick and diseases. Keep it up. I'm gonna take my hat off to the hard-working middle-class men out there working hard. Catch him on his lunch break, baby. And on Friday, he gonna make sure you got what you need. That was my daddy and granddaddy. Maybe I'm just reminiscing because ain't no more daddies like that. Everybody want to be a drug dealer.
You're a reasonable person to talk
to. Nobody don't want to be no worker. Hard helmet wearing ass worker. You niggas. But we like them boys, men. Real man. Y'all don't want to give him no respect. He don't want nothing but a 6-pack and some money to get back and forth to work. But he gonna make sure that bills paid and gonna put that dick on you. And gonna be happy when you could go in there and give him that steak and motherfucking mashed potatoes and goddamn salmon. He happy. You bitches better learn how to get your family back in order. Gag on it, let's talk. You remember when mama used to fry that chicken in that Tupperware bowl and put that goddamn paper towel in it and take that bowl up there to daddy job? I do. When we got that check on Friday, baby, everybody had money. The whole house was happy because daddy was home. You bitches ain't had a daddy at your house. Study want to chase after these niggas, don't give no fuck about you, and want to look down at a real nigga. Y'all better cut that shit out. You gonna be by yourself, bitch. You getting old.
They're by themselves.
You getting old, bitch.
They're by themselves.
All that play shit was in your 19s and 20s, bitch. Get real with yourself.
My brother Devontae said, she's just throwing 30 as a number, not actually using it as a factual number. Exactly, Devontae. You see, some of us can actually listen to someone talk for 2.5 minutes and actually, take in what they said over the 2.5 minutes and not what they said for 1 second. We know the difference between literal and figurative speech. And look, Devontae, let me show y'all something. This is what you got to understand, okay? Let me show y'all something. There's a lot of people that are like this. You know what I'm saying? There's a lot of people that are like this. You know what I'm saying? Not because they don't appear to be that way. There's a lot of people that are like this. You know what I'm saying? Just you can tell by how they comprehend and how they speak. They're a little off. You know what I'm saying? They're a little you know what I'm saying? Just you guys gotta keep that in mind when you participate in these conversations, when you're hearing, some of these women talk and some of the things that they say, just keep that in mind, okay? They're a little, you know what I'm saying? Like you just gotta keep that in mind, okay? Like just want to put that out there to you guys. So you guys gotta know who to entertain and who not to entertain, bro. Like entertaining somebody that like this, it's not a productive use of your time, okay? It's not a productive use of your time. Come up here, 2 cents money. I got some questions to ask. I got some questions that I need to ask tonight. They have 4 people in class. Yeah, that's what I'm saying, James. 4 people in class, 3 people on the school bus. If you get it, you get it. Can't go back and forth with those people. Can't go back and forth with people that supposed to be grown adults that don't know the difference between figurative speech and literal speech. Can't go back and forth with people that only take 1 second out of someone talking for 2.5 minutes. You just can't go back and forth with people like that. I understand that, but in places in the U.S., you will be homeless on $30K. So yeah, Okay, so the Mo Money 2312, you clearly didn't get the message either. You clearly didn't get the message. How do I request? You gotta hit the request button. 2 cents money. They missing the whole point in this comment section. Of course. Okay, so Mo Money, if you get it, then you wouldn't be focusing on her talking about 30K. She clearly was not focusing on 30K. All right. What I just tell y'all. You gotta hit the request button. 2 cents money. You gotta hit the request button. I think it's a multi guest button. You gotta click on that. It ain't about the money. It's about appreciating heart. Devontae, you get it, bro. You get it. I have no way of knowing what she wants, of what she was focused on. Maybe she's okay dating homeless men to not be alone. Because we gotta spell it out, she means work with a man, appreciate him being hardworking. Golly. Sierra can cook says, y'all better stay single and stack your own money, ladies. Hey, 2 cents money, how you doing?
Hey, doing good. How are you?
I'm doing all right. You got an opportunity to hear the audio, right?
Yes.
All right, man. I got some. Before we get into these questions, what are your initial thoughts on the audio? What are your initial thoughts on what Kia had to say?
So I guess from what I grasp, I mean, first of all, that 30K comment, to me, it sounds like she's talking out of her ass. I mean, she made some valid points as far as a lot of these women nowadays, they want to go for the bad guy. They want to go for the guy that's a scammer, somebody who's a drug dealer, whatever, so on and so forth. But I think when you know about what you're talking about, middle class is nothing near 30,000. I mean, middle class is I think technically it starts at like 48. Most people would say, 50, 60 and above. But I feel like sometimes people just want to talk and see kind of like what sticks. They throw whatever's out there. Um, I don't know. I mean, I get what she's saying. These women got to stop going for these guys that don't have anything to offer. Like these quote unquote bad guys that we keep seeing these women go for. It doesn't really do anything.
So 2 cents money, she wasn't saying that 30K was middle class. She was using that. She was just said 30K as like a tongue in cheek comment. Um, she was just talking about appreciating average men, just appreciating average middle class men. That's all she was talking about. She said, all nowadays, everybody, these men, they want to be exactly Mocha. It's crazy. It's crazy. Anyways, she talked about, like, men wanting to be drug dealers and rappers, and just like the firemen, and just the average guy, the guy that just work an average job, a blue collar job, just not really just being appreciated. That's why she said at the end, like, y'all are getting old, and this is not your 19. You're not in your teens and your 20s anymore. Like, you know, she's basically saying like that's why a lot of y'all are alone and are going to be alone. Because do you feel like nowadays a lot of like black women just appreciate just an average, just hardworking man?
No, to be honest, and that's why I said what I said. So I guess first let me retract a little bit. So maybe I missed that point a little bit with some of the other facts that or points that she was making in her video. And maybe I just got hung up on that whole middle class thing. But I feel like modern women overall, whether it's black, Hispanic, white, um, I think a lot of these modern women right now are not respecting the average blue collar guy. Whether that means he's middle class, whether that means he's making 15 bucks an hour, I feel like women are just not respecting that because they feel like they're bringing so much to the table, whether it's a degree or whether it's a high paying quote unquote career. And I feel like this backward shift that's happening in the dating world right now is causing a lot of people to rethink whether they even want to jump into a relationship anymore, in my opinion.
So what are the top five things that you value in a man in order to sense money?
I would say it's really more about morals, kind of going back to the basics. So I would just say somebody that's hardworking, um, can be a natural leader. You know what I mean? Because I think that that's something that we tend to just skip over nowadays, or it gets looked on in a negative light. Um, I would say just confident overall, because that kind of goes hand in hand with the leadership aspect. Somebody that is just willing to be down to earth and have a good conversation. Somebody who wants to be committed, and just family values.
That's it.
Yeah, I mean, I can't. I try to keep it as basic as possible.
So
I
I
don't
didn't.
need some. I wouldn't need somebody to just make a specific income, or look a certain way, things like that. That's never been something that I looked for personally.
So I didn't hear you. That's what I was gonna get to. So I didn't hear you say anything about a man's finances. So are you telling me that you don't care, or you wouldn't take into consideration a man's career and or how much money he makes at all?
No, I mean, I don't. Never once in my life have I ever sat there and critiqued somebody on the basis of where they were at in their career and what their paycheck was like. To me, that's completely shallow. I was raised a completely different way. Um, there's a difference between dating somebody who doesn't want to work, is not working at all. They don't even care about actively looking for a job on Indeed. Basically what you would call a bum, whether that's male or female. Uh, there's a difference between that and somebody that's, going to work. They put the work in, they're paying their bills, and they're responsible. And, unfortunately, we see too many women right now that are saying, oh, I want a man that makes $400,000 a year. That's not realistic. You're asking for a 1% of this country. And really, that boils down to less than 1%, because there's some female millionaires too. So it makes no sense.
My question to you though is if a woman is single and she's childless, and let's say she's in her mid 20s, because I'm in my mid 20s. If she aspires one day to have a family, right? She wants to be married, she wants to have kids. Doesn't, shouldn't a man's like, career and how much money he makes, shouldn't that be of importance to her if she does aspire to have a family one day? Because me personally, I think it's disingenuous for a woman that, she does aspire to have those things in her future. I think it's disingenuous for her to say that she just wouldn't care about how much money a man makes at all. Like I think most women, this is what I hear a lot of women, especially black women, say. I hear them say that, they want to be with a man that, they can sit down throughout their whole pregnancy and have a healthy pregnancy. I hear them say that even after they give birth, they want to be there with their child during those formative years or whatever. So they want to be with a man that they can actually sit down for 2, 3, 4 years, and the man can be able to take care of her and the kids. So if if a woman has that mindset, wouldn't it be kind of contradictory for her to say that she doesn't care about a man's money and his financial status at all? Yep, be a stay-at-home mom, be a stay-at-home wife, that too. Wouldn't that be kind of backwards? That doesn't really make sense to me. Because I don't know too many people that, like, when they're looking for jobs, unless they're desperate, because they have desperate people out here, right? They have desperate people that they're
Hmm.
so in need of money that they're gonna go pick up whatever job is gonna go hire them on the spot, no matter what the job is, no matter how much it's paying. And that's the same way they got, bitter, desperate men and women too, right? They're gonna just whoever comes their way, they're just happy that somebody looked their way and they're gonna be with them. But I don't know too many people that aren't in that position that, when they're looking for jobs, they're not going in there with any salary expectations. Just give me whatever. Like, so what do you have to say to that?
So, like I said earlier, there's a difference between some like a bum, right? Somebody who has no aspirations to do anything, they have no motivation to do anything, right? Make money, whatever, have a job. Then you have your regular, you take a look at a lot of these blue collar men that are working as a plumber, construction worker. They're not the richest men out there, but they're making a stable income. I think it really comes down to, first of all, what are your expectations as a woman, as far as, are you going to take a traditional role and be a stay-at-home wife, be a stay-at-home mom? If that's the case, you do need to consider, well, what group of men am I really trying to advertise myself to when I'm on these dating apps, or I'm at the coffee shop trying to talk to people, meet them, whatever? Then yeah, you may want to switch gears and go specifically towards that group of men that's going to be able to provide that lifestyle for you. But I will say there's different cultures in this society that the women stay at home and the man's only bringing your average income of 50,000, 60,000. I was in banking for over 10 years, and that's possible. It's not an impossible life. But we have people that want to live a lavish lifestyle. That's a different income bracket.
Right. But I mean, right. So I mean, so for those women, but like, even if okay, if she wanted to be a stay at home mom, stay home, I agree with everything you just said. But like, I mean, shouldn't a man or a woman, shouldn't you want to know like where someone is that you're gonna possibly pursue, like, for, like being in a real relationship with? Shouldn't I personally think knowing how much money, that person makes, knowing what their career is, especially for women, knowing what their credit is, knowing how much debt they're in. I think all of that is important, like stuff to know. I don't think that's stuff to just not consider at all or just minimize. I think all that stuff is important in, like, picking a life partner. Do you not think so?
I think it's crucial. Yeah, and I think people definitely. I used to be a financial coach, um, so I definitely encouraged people that are actually dating seriously. Like, maybe you're on the verge of becoming engaged, or you realize you're a few months in. Like, yeah, you definitely at one point have to talk about finances, because finances is one of the top three reasons why people get divorced. It causes a lot of friction. So you want to know ahead of time before you get into that situation. But at the same time, see, to me, it's almost like a double edged sword, because you don't want to come off too greedy, but at the same time, yeah, you do want to know. Here's the problem: people are no longer seeking to want to grow with somebody. Traditionally, that's how marriages were. Both parties might not have a whole lot, but at the end of the day, when they both come together, they can make a hell of a life together. We don't really see that a lot nowadays because everything is so materialistic. And I'm gonna be honest with myself, right? So I normally don't like to put a lot of my personal information out there, but I'm married, right? When me and my husband got together, I'll tell you right now, we were lucky that we were paying our rent and paying our bills, separately at the time, because we were basically living paycheck to paycheck. We didn't have a lot of money. But guess what? The life we have now is a complete 180. But now, if I had that mindset that a lot of these women are now talking about, saying, oh, well, he needs to make this amount of money and he needs to look like this and be that, I wouldn't have a successful marriage that I have right now. So this is why I try to talk to a lot of the women that come in my DMs and stuff for advice, because we have to switch this modern woman mentality. It doesn't work. We're getting too selfish. We're getting too needy when it comes to the money. It's okay to worry about money. Money will buy you the things that you want. But money does not buy happiness. It really doesn't. It just doesn't.
Yeah, and I don't I agree with 99% of what you just said. The 1% that I disagree with is I don't think a woman is coming off as greedy for wanting to know a man's financial status. Like I said, I think knowing what his career is, I think knowing how much money he makes, I think knowing what his credit is, knowing how much debt he may or may not be in, I think all of those things are important. Like, you know, like if a woman is looking to be in a serious relationship with a man, and even vice versa, I think that's important for, the man to know as well. Even if he is a man, that has a quote unquote provider mindset. But me personally, Steph, I have two sisters myself. I've never said or advised, but I don't give advice, but I've never advised women to, date a man that's not financially stable. And that's another conversation we need to have too, Steph, because financially stable means different things to different women. Like,
Yes.
to a lot of modern women, being financially stable is, having $250,000 in your bank account, making $500,000 a year, living in a $750,000 house, driving $1 million car. Like, it's just it gets crazy out here. But I think they should want to be with someone that's financially stable. I think they should want to be with someone that has savings, someone that has good credit. I don't think they should just get up and be with anyone just because he puts a smile on their face and brings butterflies to their stomach. But what my problem is, Steph, is there's a lot of women today that they don't see any value. They don't see men that are on the same socioeconomic status level as them. They don't deem those men worthy to be in relationships with. So the example that I always use, Steph, is that there's women somewhere right now. They stocking the shelves. They work in the overnight shift at Walmart. They're stocking the shelves from 11 to 8. They probably make between $30,000 and $35,000 a year. But guess what, Steph? They don't want to date the man across the city that's doing the same thing as them. Like they want to be with the partner at the law firm. They want to be with, the attorney of 10 years. They want to be with the engineer. Whatever, title that people associate with making a lot of money, they want to be with that man. They think that they deserve to be with that man. And I think that is a problem. That's where I think the problem comes in.
It is a huge problem because you know what they don't realize. And I've been around a lot of very successful people throughout my career. And just as friends, family friends, things like that. There's a huge price to pay when you're looking for those one percenters, when you're looking for those people in that higher uh, income bracket, essentially. Because you take a look at, especially like all this content that's going around and everything, the truth is being told about these men. What happens is that you may find a man that's making 300,000, but he has a lot of options. Those are the men that they may cheat on you because there's a lot of other women coming for them looking for the same thing. So there is a hefty price that comes with looking for that quote unquote high value man, that term that came out just a few short years ago.
Hmm.
Um, to me, and my girl Black Girl Speaks is in here.
Hmm.
Shout out to her, but she said something just a few moments ago in the chat. To her, stability means a guy that's taking care of his necessities. He has a savings, his goals are intact, things like that. I think we look too far into it. I mean, credit is a fairly new system, right? So we're looking at credit scores and things like that, but you could be a responsible adult and maybe you had a mishap with student loans or some medical debt years ago that really messed you up. So really, you just need to get your credit situated. Again, it's a partnership. You have good credit, I don't. Let's help each other out. We're going to build together. And I feel like we lost that as a younger generation. We are no longer looking for things that you can build on. We want it already built. Let's build the platform together. and then make the beautiful home, and then make the beautiful family, establish everything else, the wealth and all of that will come. I mean, that's how you really build a legacy. That's how, and I'm going to say it because I grew up around a lot of white people, right? That's how we see these different communities grow and thrive. They leave legacies for their children, right? But we can't build legacies for our Hispanic and Black communities, right? If we always expect the top tier, but we don't want to grow it with somebody. We got to start somewhere. So, it's okay to date somebody that's making 35, 40,000 a year. We got to humble ourselves sometimes and realize it's going to take two to tango. You know what I mean? It doesn't always come fully packaged with a bow on top. It just doesn't. That's not realistic to me.
So Steph, me personally, I'm not going. Listen, if the woman is making 35 to 40,000, then I'll say that there's nothing wrong with being with the man that's making 35 to 40,000. But you know, me personally, I don't have a problem. I really don't have like a problem with women being hypergamous, but I don't know. It just gets to be like, I personally think, Steph, I believe that most women, right? I believe that most women want to be with a man that at the very least makes the same amount of money as them. But if they would prefer to be with a man that makes significantly more than them for those reasons that I said earlier. But Steph, what black women tell me on this app and what they tell me off of this app is that, they're not building with the man. They're not building with the black man. They'd say that they saw everything their moms went through, everything their aunts went through, everything their grandmothers went through, and they're not going to subject themselves to the same things that they saw these other women go through. So, as a black man, you need to already be established. What I always like to say, Steph, is they don't want to shoot, they don't want to be in a gym shooting with you. They don't want to be in the gym rebounding with you. They're gonna watch you go through the conference finals, the semifinals. I'm sorry, they're gonna watch you go through the quarterfinals, the semifinals, and the conference finals. And as soon as you win, as soon as you get to the finals and you win the finals, and you got the MVP trophy, that's when they're gonna want to come and stand next to you. That's when a lot of people say that they like to wait at the finish line. But my thing, Steph, is the reality is that a lot of these women, and Steph, I want to know where you think this mindset is deriving from, like what you think is attributing to the mindset of a lot of these women today. But what the reality, Steph, is that a lot of these women, they're not even, they may be able to sleep with these men. They may sleep with men of this caliber, but they're not in any sort of serious relationships with men of this caliber. These men are not, like I always say, these men are not looking their direction. They're not spitting their direction. They're not pursuing them for any form of serious relationships, and damn sure not marriage. So it's like these women are in one breath saying that they're not settling, but they're also not attracting what they want either. And I always
Exactly.
say you can't say that you're not settling when you're also not attracting what you want. You're just not attracting what you want. And instead of looking in the mirror and trying to take some accountability and going back to the drawing board and doing some reconnecting of the dots and trying to self improve, so maybe you can qualify and start attracting attention that you want to attract. They just say that there's not enough good men out here. The men that are dealing with them, even though these men are readily available for them and more than suitable for them, those men aren't on their level. Those men aren't their caliber. But you're not attracting the men that would be on your caliber and that you would deem valuable. Make that make sense to me, Steph.
See, you asked a very good question about where is this all deriving from. The
Right.
problem is the past few decades have been very, very confusing and crazy, right? Because we had the so-called feminist movement back in the 50s and 60s, right? And the feminist term, which people tend to misuse, really was when women wanted equal rights. We wanted women empowerment, right? The right to vote, so on and so forth. I mean, you take a look at that compared to where we are now today in 2023. I mean, I was on a live earlier but talking about Amber Rose, the topic was, and we now have women that want to say we shouldn't be slut shaming women, high body count don't matter, we're not holding anybody, no woman accountable for their actions, but we're going to blame the children. I mean, like, it's completely asinine where this has gone. You know, my point is, we went from simply trying to get women's rights to be equal to now, all of a sudden, we don't hold women accountable anymore. I mean, just last week in the news, I think she was like 20 something, 30 something year old woman raped a 13-year-old boy, right? And is not
Yeah, I
even
saw
going to
that.
jail for it.
Yeah, I saw that.
And it's not to be off topic, but because it all kind of goes hand in hand together. This is the effery that is going on, and year after year, it's getting worse. So how does that translate to the dating world? Because now you have a whole generation of entitled women that feel like they deserve everything and they want the man to eat right out of their palm of their hand and they don't have to do anything. It's absolutely crazy. And I don't know if you've ever watched Married at First Sight. I watch it because I think it's funny sometimes. There was a couple from Philly, right? They're having a nice little dinner, whatever. She starts talking about finances, right? And hey, we just talked about it's important to talk about finances. She goes to tell him that she expects 50-50, right?
Mm-hmm.
But then when it comes down to who's going to pay the bills, she turns around and tells him within literally maybe a minute after her saying that, oh, well, you got to pay all the bills. I'm going to make the money and I'm going to keep what's mine. How does that make sense? And she's not the only one saying that now. I'm seeing so many women, especially on this app right now, saying the same message. They're saying they want 50-50, but what they really mean is you, the man, have to pay 100%. I will keep my 100%, and we're going to keep it pushing. It's that sense of entitlement. It does not work, and we're going to see this pan out because there's a statistic that just went around. By the year 2030, 45% of women between the ages of, I think, 25 to 44 are going to be single. That's why.
And
That's why.
listen, Steph. Thank you, Nate. Appreciate you, love. Um, Listen, Steph, and a lot of these women be saying that they what's good, Ella. A lot of these women be saying that they single by choice. They don't be single by choice, man. Like again, like and this is for the ladies and the gentlemen, okay? Let me tell you something. You cannot say that you are not going to settle when you are also not attracting what it is that you want. And not only are, again, to the ladies, not only are you not attracting these men, you're not getting any significant minute interest from these men at all. They are not looking in your direction. They are not spitting in your direction. All these the men with that make the amount of money that you say you want, you're not getting any significant minute interest from those men. The men that y'all say are real men that are leaders and providers and protectors and all this stuff, those men aren't looking your way. Those men aren't spitting in your direction. So like just stop fooling yourself. And I said this, I'm gonna say this again. I said this the other night, okay? Let me tell you ladies something in here. And if what I'm about to say applies to you, too bad. And like as y'all black women love to say on this app, if it don't apply, let it fly, okay? A lot of you women, when you were in your early 20s, right? When you were looking your best physically, and you was having all the motion when it came to men, you know, when you was 23, 24, 25, and you thought the rest of your life was going to be like that forever. But now you in your mid 30s, now you in your late 30s, now you in your early 40s, and when you go outside, when you walk by, men don't look your way. When you walk by, men don't turn their head to see like what you working with. Like when you post on social media, men don't swipe up on your story. They don't DM you. When you post photos, they don't like your photos. Right? But instead of looking in the mirror, instead of your hotline does not bling at all. Your hotline does not bling at all. When you go out in public settings, men don't say hi to you. They don't offer to buy you a drink. They don't do anything of the sort. But instead of looking in the mirror and saying, you know what? I'm the problem. You know, it's something with me. It's something I need to do I need to do some like, I need to dig deep, do some deep diving and figure out like what's going on. You're not the problem, right? It's the men that's the problem. It's the market, it's the dating market that's the problem. It's a whole bunch of men that don't qualify. It's a whole bunch of men that don't qualify for you, right? No. Y'all need to learn to start accepting your fate. You either need to accept your fate for what it is, or you can put the work in hopes that you can change your current circumstances. And nothing is guaranteed. So nothing is guaranteed in life, but you're guaranteed to not get what it is that you want when you don't put in any work at all. So accept your fate for what it is and stop being angry, stop being bitter about it, or put in the work so you can have different results. Doing the same thing, expecting a different result is called insanity. And clearly, a lot of you women are insane. Shout out to my baby Bree in the comments. Ladies and gentlemen, please make sure that y'all are following Curl Finesser in the comments. That is my business partner. She is almost at 1K. We are waiting for her to get to 1K so she can start going live on TikTok. If you are in the greater Dallas area, if you are looking, ladies, if you're struggling with hair growth right now, if you're struggling with breakage in your hair, she makes and sells holistic hair products. It's guaranteed. You know how I just said nothing is guaranteed in life? Her products are guaranteed to make your hair grow, stop the shrinkage, stop the breakage of your hair. I used to be bald headed. When I start using her hair products, I started to grow some hair. Okay, so y'all make sure y'all tap in with my girl in the comments, Bree, Big Bree, Curl Finesser, and yeah. I'm sorry, Steph. Steph, do you have
Hey,
anything to
you're
say
good.
to what I just said?
I lost my train of thought now. You were hyping
I'm
your business partner. I'm over here trying to follow her, like, okay.
Yes, make sure y'all following my girl. Listen, that's my business partner. We about to do some really big things soon as she get to 1K. Please make sure y'all following her. But
You're gonna
anyways,
be
I want to
all
say
hype
I want to say one
with
more
that
thing, Steph.
promo.
You gotta support people that support you. You gotta support beautiful, feminine, just great people, just great people. But Steph, what I was gonna say, Steph, is I think it's the influence when I what I think is attributing to the mindset of a lot of these women today. Like I said, I just think, Steph, like they can get on Instagram, they can get on these apps, even TikTok, and they can see the lifestyle that the baby mamas, the girlfriends, the wives of these athletes and entertainers are living. The women that are actually with these 7-figure, 8-figure, 9-figure men, and they see the lifestyle that these women, live, at least what they put out for the world to see. And that's what they aspire for now. And like I said, they try to make that their reality, even though that's not their reality. And for 99% of them, it's not going to be their reality. It was never their mother's reality. It was never their grandmother's reality. All the women in their family tree, they never been with a 7-figure, 8-figure man in a relationship. They never, Steph, they never was taking 10 vacations a year, out of the country. They never was driving exotic cars. They never had 5, 10 mansions. But these women, I don't know, they're holding out, Steph. They're holding out and they're looking over all the men that are readily available for them and more than suitable for them because in their head, they deserve what they deserve and their future is going to be what it's going to be. But then when
Exactly.
they get older and it doesn't become a reality, then it's gonna be like, these men don't qualify for me or there's no good men out here. It's crazy. Like
No, you're
15 years from
absolutely
now,
right.
Steph, 15 years from now, it's gonna be a woman my age, 15, 20 years from now, and she gonna be on the next, 25-year-old young man on whatever platform that's gonna be talking about dating and relationships, and she's gonna be telling him how like these black men, they're just no good, they're it's crazy stuff. It's crazy.
You know what? You know what's funny? Real quick, before I hop off, I want to make this quick point, right? So, I guess first of all, um, it's not that a lot of us. I'm gonna I'm gonna comment to this troll that's in this chat, right? It's not that people care about single women, quote unquote, choosing to be single. It's the fact that you single women keep calling men out, and women have to come to their defense because you're not listening to the men, and now apparently you're not even listening to the women because you're too thick-headed and stubborn. That stubbornness will never get you anywhere. So swallow your pride once in a while and realize that is not a nice, attractive uh, aspect to have. It's not attractive to anybody. To me, it's just bitter. So it's not the fact that people care what a single woman is doing. It's the fact that genuine people are out here trying to spit game to the quote unquote single women that are actually trying to change. They're trying to realize and open their eyes and say, "Oh crap, what I'm doing is not working," which we see the proof is in the pudding, my friend. All on this app, you just search it up and you see all these single women crying, realizing that they're not able to get a man. The question is why, right? So, real quick, I was watching a Fresh and Fit clip the other day, and I think his name is Myron. Uh, he
Mhm.
he asked this one chick, "Well, what's the most expensive Valentine's Day gift you've ever gotten from a man?" She looked at him and like her eyes started getting all teary, and she's like her voice is stuttering. She's like, flowers, I guess. And he's like, "Well, what's wrong? Why are you talking like that?" She starts crying because you know what? She had that oh shit wake up moment and realization in her head, realizing she's just been sleeping with these men, not requiring nothing. The nicest thing she ever got, and she looked like she was probably somewhere in her 30s, right? Giving herself up, no requirements, right? And the nicest thing a man has given her was flowers. Now, most women would say, "Oh, damn." Like, you would expect it's jewelry or clothes or gift card, massage, whatever. She started crying. She's like, "I wasn't expecting to cry, but this question hit me." And this is why these shows like a Fresh and Fit, even though I don't always agree with some of their content, you need these shows to go on because this is what's going to help red pill some of these women that are stuck in this delusion. This needs to happen for a shift to occur in the mindsets of these women. Something needs to change, right? And I think you said it. The definition of insanity is keep doing the same thing over and over and over again and expecting different results. It's not feasible. It's like going on a quote unquote diet. You're gonna sit there and eat a cheeseburger and fries 3 meals a day, but you're thinking in your head, nah, this week the scale's gonna go down. That's insane to even think that. You didn't change anything. So on that note, I definitely appreciate you for bringing me up. This was a really good conversation. I actually hope I can join one of your lives again because you really seem like a dope guy. So I appreciate that.
Yeah, I appreciate you, Steph. But Steph, I want to say one more thing before you leave. Thank you for the
Sure.
roses. Thank you for the roses, supervillain. Look, Steph, I always say that these women be having a lot of these women, they have their epiphany moment, Steph. And for some women, it's earlier, for some women, it's later. But they wake up one day, Steph, and they realize that, all these men that they've slept with, that these men really don't care, like you just said, Steph. Like these men don't care about them like as people. They don't care about their well being. Like they don't hear from these men on their birthdays. They don't hear from these men on holidays. These men don't contact them just to say just to ask how they're doing. And that's when they really do start feeling used and abused. I don't like to say that, but that's when they really start feeling used and abused. And what do they do after that, Steph? Now they're abstinent. Now they're celibate, right? So all that time that they spent being a hot girl, doing all this stuff, they don't want to move like that anymore. Now they really want to quote unquote date with intention. Now they want to be with a man
Mm-hmm.
that like really cares about them and really like, like really cares about them as a person. But the whole time when you was getting ran through and everyone knew you was getting ran through, now you want the quote unquote good guy to like see you like, like in this light. It don't work like that. Don't work like that. You don't get to
Absolutely.
tiptoe. You don't get to double dutch, over that line. You don't get to double dutch over that line. Like for men, like when it's been established that as a woman you move a certain way and you have like a certain, you have like a certain aura attached to your name, like unfortunately, that's just what it is. Like men that go outside and commit felonies at 17, 18 years old and they got to go sit down for 7, 8 years. When they come out, the world don't care that they have a different mindset and that they're not the same person. Like, they're still not going to be able to go be an executive at some company. They're still going to be disqualified from having the opportunity to have some jobs, live in certain places. Like, that's just how the world works. Like, it's consequences to everything that we do, good or bad. And you got to live with the consequences of the decisions that you make.
Absolutely. And that's where we're at. Accountability, consequences, like that's just what we're lacking right now. More so on women. We throw too much of that at men and we expect too much. You know, I'm happily married to a black man, and the reason why I advocate for men in general, but more specifically black men, is because I see what my husband's gone through, and I see how the court systems are. Everything's rigged against these men, from family court to just everything. And I feel like women nowadays, they call it toxic masculinity, but it's really toxic femininity that's going on. And so I think too much of the consequences and accountability are always thrown on the men, and I'm tired of seeing that. We got to balance it out. At one point, the seesaw gets too weighted on one side, and what happens to the other? It's just you need equal weight, or not even completely equal, but it's got to balance each other out. And this is kind of what we're seeing right now in our Western society, not in other places in the world, but specifically here in America.
Yeah, and one more thing, Steph. I don't want to, those that are familiar with me, I'm not like all for men. And I'm not all for women. I just keep it real. And if I keep it real, Steph, like I know we're talking about women right now because Kyle was talking about women in this video. But there's I think it's night and day between men and women, but there's definitely a population of delusional men out here as well. There's definitely a population of, men that, they effed off in their 20s and they didn't let life pass them by. And they're kind of, trying to like blame their current circumstances on women as well, and not looking in the mirror and realizing that they don't qualify for the woman that they want either. So but like I said, I think it's night and day. I think men are a lot more realistic when it comes to dating. Like I think if you went to Menards or Fleet Farm tomorrow and or Home Depot and you asked 10 men that was working on the floor, like, what they think their chances are of being with a woman of the caliber of Rihanna, Mariah Carey, I think like at least 8 or 9 out of the 10 of them are gonna say that, where I'm at in life right now, that's not really like a realistic thing for me. But I think if you ask 10 women, that's gonna be, I don't know, she gonna be working the front at Jamla Juice tomorrow. The women that are at Walmart and Target stocking the shelves right now. If you ask 10 of those women, what you think your chances are of being with like Drake or Leonardo DiCaprio or I don't know, Will Smith? I think like 8 or 9 of them is gonna say that, I probably, it can happen. Like it's very much possible.
No, yeah, oh, absolutely. Yeah, and I just want to correct something. It's not that I think men are perfect or, anything like that. I just don't like how there's just been a recent shift in just trying to always put the blame on the men and not hold a lot of these women accountable. Both sides are to be held accountable for numerous situations, right? But I just wanted to clear that up because I don't want it to come across like, oh, I only advocate for one side. Obviously, I'm a woman. I naturally would want to advocate for women over anything. But at the same time, I have to be real and take a look at where we are in today's society. Um, but no, everything you said, I mean, I like your thought process. You're very balanced. Um, and I definitely appreciate that because this is an example of the type of conversations we need to continue to have. It's okay. I'm not 100% going to agree with everything you say. You're not going to
Right.
agree 100% with everything I say. Like you said
Right.
numerous times. I agree with you 99% or 98%, and that's okay. Even if you said 50% or nothing at all. We just have to be more empathetic and just seek to understand and hear people out. And I think as a generation, we could keep moving forward, just seeking to understand. Like that's
Right.
it.
That's my thing. I don't agree with 100% of everything that anyone says, but like it's never personal at the end of the day. Like people should be able to have discussions and be able to respectfully agree and disagree with one another. Like it's never personal. Like, people just need to understand that.
Absolutely. But thank you so much for
Yeah,
letting me
thank you.
come
Look, I'm
up.
gonna follow you. I'm gonna follow you on my backup page. Look, we gotta talk about some more stuff. We gotta do some stuff for YouTube. So I'm gonna follow you on my backup
Yes.
page.
All right. No doubt.
All right. Nice
All
talking
right.
to you, Steph. You have a good night.
You too.
All right, bye.